marketing, obviously a really important part of any business.
Yep.
Have you really segmented that into target areas, or how have you approached that? I mean, you're part of the Harcourts brand, but you've got your own name in the brand, which I think, you know, is obviously important for experienced salespeople. How are you sort of really using that marketing, and what are you finding working?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously Casserly, Owens, we thought we'd use our surnames in the marketplace instead of being geographically confined.
Yeah.
Nathan's father was still selling real estate. He's been doing it for 30, 40 years or so, more in the northern suburbs, whereas we're more city-based, inner east, and now also the coast around the Henley Beach and Grange, West Beach regions.
Yeah.
But Casserly's name is known in SA for real estate. You know, a lot of people that I meet, I give them my business card and they say, "Oh, is that Tony's son?" So it's amazing that it's Adelaide. And also my surname is unusually spelt with a U in it, so it's Owens, it's Dutch. My father was a property lawyer in Adelaide, he still is, he's a bit more low-key now, but a lot of people know him around Adelaide too, in the older generation, probably the baby boomer generation, I should say. So we thought we'd bounce off of that goodwill that already exists, plus the 5 or 6 years of hopefully our own goodwill that we've established in the marketplace, and then not be geographically confined like being a specific suburb behind the brand. And that's really helped us to be able to recruit in the end, so we're glad that we went that way with that decision. But yeah, we do some geographic marketing, but we focus more on relationship marketing. So, and that is, you know, people that we've sold for before or we've sold to, we just make sure we really keep in touch with them. I think that was probably one of the forgotten arts in real estate was the people who already like you.
Yeah.
You lose track of them, and then people do all this marketing to try to get new, fresh clients that don't know you. So we really focus on the people that already do know us. And so we've got now, I think, amongst our office in our database, 4,000 to 5,000 contacts of real people who have given, I guess, permission for us to market to them, rather than looking to then market to 5, 10, 15,000 people that haven't given us permission.
You feel like they're just becoming processed.
Yeah.
You may have a range of agents that are doing exactly the same to them, I guess, too.
Yeah. So that's more our focus, but there is a certain geographical component to those relationships, and you know, we have 3 agents or 4 agents specialising in those areas down the coast that I mentioned before, and then we've got a city-based agent, and then we really pretty much go everywhere, don't we, including Kangaroo Island and York Peninsula.
Yeah, that's right. How did you end up on KI?
Well, KI was probably one of those classic stories where 2006, when I came into real estate, you know, just go anywhere, you know, property to sell, I'll follow it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was on Kangaroo Island, and I hopped on a plane for the first time across to KI, and found this property and I listed it, and I'll never forget it. It was a $91,000 unit. I sold it to a bloke in the Barossa. My commission was 2%, so it was $1,800 commission. Definitely lost money on that deal, but what I learnt from that was that you got to treat all vendors the same, because you never know where the next deal will come from and what it will be. Because my next sale was a $1.55 million block of land at 3% commission over on Kangaroo Island. And that was what really launched my career, that I treated that $91,000 unit really, really well. And the advertiser ran a big article about Kangaroo Island booming, and I was featured in it. And then all of a sudden they called me the KI King, and I was like, all right, I'll go with it.
Just go with it, change, go adapt.
So you start drinking at the Ozone Hotel,
yeah, that's
getting
it.
your photo taken, getting
Absolutely. And so Kangaroo Island's been sensational to me, and I really owe a lot to it. I love KI, and I've bought properties there, and I've got a holiday rental business there now, and I really love it. It was one of those really good stories of just got to treat everyone the same.
And I suppose, you know, like the $1 million listings, I often see you guys sign boards around as, you know, I'm running much slower than you around Torrens Park and good areas like that. So I suppose you've got that great diversity as well.
Yeah, and being part of the group definitely helps with the training and the systems and the support that you get. But I think what's happened by having our names as well, it's lifted our own expectations. Yeah. Because if we're, you know, the old saying, if you're handing out the business card or if your name's on the door, there's some language we could use. We're definitely putting some things on the line to make sure we deliver the promise to the world. Where sometimes
wild Sunday nights.
you can.
You just don't take your cards out with you on Saturday nights.
And all of that, you look at Facebook and Twitter, and we know that the sporting industry, that there's a lot of people who are getting tapped on the shoulder what they tweeted or their Facebook. So definitely it means that someone's always watching you. And sometimes a more generic brand, you can sort of hide behind it if you're getting any complaints or issues with settlements, etc. When your name's on the door and people see that, or a vendor or a purchaser, they think, well, there is someone I can call who probably is at the top, who's in charge. I want to speak to them rather than just a generic brand. So it's definitely having the two has worked really well.
Century 21, as we know, it offers a strong brand in the marketing space. You see it in the papers, and I love the colours, and that's fantastic. How do you encourage people to incorporate this marketing into their own business?
Well, I think in Century 21 what we really focus on when it comes to marketing is we focus on being able to utilise the well-known logo of Century 21. Some of the people who are viewing today may recall seeing a movie called What to Expect When You're Expecting. And in that particular movie, you will see the Century 21 brand is prolific within that movie. Okay. We had a customer survey and an omnibus survey done in 2011, which identified that 93% of those respondents identified Century 21 as a prominent real estate brand. And for that reason, we encourage all of our business owners to incorporate the brand in every piece of marketing paraphernalia that they have.
Yes.
To make the brand prominent in the appearance of their office.
Yes.
And that too, with respect to other items of marketing paraphernalia, business cards and so on, to promote the brand at every juncture.
Yes.
So that Century 21 still remains one of the top 4 brands in Australia.
Absolutely. And so based on that, what have you seen work well in this marketing space and why?
Okay, well, a couple of things that I think it's important to address is that consumers out there and their behaviour has changed. And we know that in the social media space, that social media accounts like Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn and so on are so incredibly important in marketing a business.
Yes.
So we certainly are very active in that space, and in fact we have a department in Sydney that is responsible for all of our search engine optimisation. The importance of that is so that when people are doing any form of Google search about real estate in a given area, that when that search results come up, that it identifies Century 21. So that's one thing. The second thing that we've noticed is that in that space as well, in that technological space, we need to be paramount and number one in that area. So we actually have an online game called Property Mogul, which we've started to promote throughout Australia. And that was released in the Sydney Morning Herald last year. And that paper has a national distribution of over 500,000 readers.
Yes.
The important part about it is it engages people from a very young age to start thinking about real estate and to actually engage in that particular game.
Yes.
The one thing that you'll notice with that game, Property Mogul, is that the Century 21 brand is not mentioned anywhere. And we do that for a specific reason, because we know that if the brand is prominent in that game, then people will not use it. Biased. Because it's too biased, correct.
Yes.
So we still incorporate the Century 21 colours of gold and black, and we've found that we've had significant success with that. And we have almost 100,000 people in Australia that are registered playing that game at the moment.
Wow, sensational.